partnership formed with Dean John Ting, we traveled to the university campus to work with engineering professors and college students. We tested paper, got in on the design of a one-of-a-kind robotic page turner, and discovered many of us may have a future as engineers someday, as close bonds were formed between middle schoolers and college students.
Our club has partnered with UMass Lowell's engineering students who developed a prototype robotic automatic page turner that is 1/4 the size needed for the finished book. We were invited to UMass Lowell on 2 occasions, and we were able to see the page turner in action. The device will turn the pages, one at a time, from front to back and back again.
Of your book, that's going to be the big one. And when it's going to be in an exhibit or whatever, and when it goes and starts, basically this side is going to get set in a vacuum, and all of these will lift at once. So these pistons will lift, and then it's going to bring the first page up, and then this bar right here. Oh, yeah, well, it's not really functional at this moment, but we're in the middle of it. So then this bar lifts, the disco lifts the page, the bar slips under this first page, and then there's a whole set of gearing, everything underneath here. It then sequences this thing, and this bar will start traveling that way.
It seemed like UMass Lowell engineering students had fun with this part of the mission.
I used to dream the impossible dream. Spent most of my youth in a wide-eyed fantasy. Early in the morning, while the whole world was still asleep, I'd march down my street singing, oh say, can you see? And I marched down the streets of America.
UMass Lowell helped us identify DuPont's Tyvek media. You know, the stuff they wrap and insulate houses with, as the best product to print on. But we didn't stop our technological quest there. We needed to find a company that had expertise in large format printing, or someone who could print really big things. We sought help from EFI ViewTech, a manufacturer of grand format inkjet printers in Meredith, New Hampshire. We took another road trip to learn all we could, and were overjoyed to learn that ViewTech would donate a huge volume of our ink. If you think the toner for your home computer is expensive, imagine how much our costs will be. EFI ViewTech introduced us to a company called Unigraphic of Woburn, Mass., one of New England's leading printers. You guessed it, we took another road trip to learn all we could about large format printing. Why don't I let the kids tell you the rest?
Sometimes we have guest speakers as well. This year, we met with members from the organization September 11th Families for Peaceful Tomorrows. We were also visited by a Palestinian speaker who is a parent of a Bookmakers and Dreamers Club member. 2 Israeli speakers, one of whom is an Israeli soldier and is also a parent of a Bookmaker and Dreamer Club member, joined us one afternoon, as did a rabbi. We hosted a speaker who lived in Pakistan, who taught us about the history and culture of the Asian and Middle Eastern regions. We even learned from speakers from Perkins School for the Blind, a college student who shared pictures of the refugee children with whom she worked in Uganda, and university students studying diversity and discrimination work. All these speakers have opened our eyes to circumstances of others' lives outside of our community.
We've had great exposure in the community. We've been invited as guests to give presentations to the Lions Club, the Rotary Club, and the Veterans Association. We've been filmed by UPN 38's Roby on the Road, been interviewed by the Boston Globe, and been televised by Boston's Chronicle with Ted Reinstein.
We thought our local publicity was wonderful, and on top of it, we received an invitation to the United Nations International Day of Peace in September. Not only were we asked to attend, but we were asked to speak and present our big book project, Pages for Peace. We prepared a PowerPoint presentation, brought in 2 life-size pages, and 2 of our club members spoke.
The programs opened up discussions, and we were able to exchange ideas with students from Sudan, Liberia, and Afghanistan through live video conferencing.
used to dream the impossible dream. Spent most of my youth in a wide-eyed fantasy. Early in the morning, while the whole world was still asleep, I'd march down my street singing, oh say, can you see? And I marched down the streets of America.
As if going to the United Nations in New York City wasn't exciting enough, this past spring our exposure was out of this world. Astronaut Joseph Akaba was kind enough to take one of our club t-shirts with him on the Space Shuttle Discovery mission. Then he came back to our school for a special assembly where he gave the t-shirt back to us. Can you imagine sharing our message of peace as far away as the International Space Station?
Right now, our goal is to have the Peace Book, the big book, on display at the middle school in the PAC, September 2010, International Day of Peace. After that, we hope to have it at the Museum of Science in Boston. We've been invited there. Also, former President Jimmy Carter has invited us to the Carter Museum in Atlanta, Georgia, to display in his library, and we hope to have it travel from there around the United States and on beyond around the world.
Not doing like the entire world peace and cleansing it. We're just doing a little bit, and they say like you're taking a little bit of a big sandwich, and we're not going to do a lot of things, but even a little bit of taking that little bite of the sandwich is still amazing, especially if it's a BLT.
In this book, we have been educated about global problems and problems in our own lives and how to solve them peacefully. By doing this, we can help influence others positively.
Most people don't think of peace on a daily basis. Having them write a letter really makes them stop and think.
It's a picture of a girl holding out her hand, and at the bottom it says it's your choice to accept an offer of alliance from someone who truly wants to be your friend.
You can see it has a teapot, and I wrote, if only peace was automatic, but it's not. And all we have to do is pour the kettle and let peace flow. They'll realize that more kids are trying to make a difference, and they'll look up at us as role models. That's what I hope. So then they try to make something amazing that'll impact the world too and make it more peaceful.
How it's wicked critical what we're going to do after we're done with the project, because we're not just going to stop. We're going to keep going with the project and stuff.
Even like being invited to the United Nations for the second time, and the topic now is nuclear disarmament. So I'm all excited because what do we know about nuclear disarmament? What do we know about nuclear weapons?
We haven't talked about it a lot.
Exactly, so we're going to continue to learn.
We'd appreciate your support. We'd also appreciate it if you sent some letters to us, but most importantly, help us to create a more peaceful world today and tomorrow. Thank you.
Peace!
I used to dream the impossible dream. Spent most of my youth in a wide-eyed fantasy. Early in the morning, while the whole world was still asleep, I'd march down my street singing, oh say, can you see? And I marched down the streets of America with a heart so young, a spirit so free, dreaming that dream my father called America, yeah. Brotherhood, justice, equality, Can you remember when we took these words seriously? When restlessness was a yearning to breathe free? We were just dreamers, used to be dreamers. And a dream is just a shining light. You know you'll never reach it, still you keep it in sight. Can you see that light anymore? A man